Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Attorney General of Virginia, Jason Miyares.
Virginians, are you ready to win again? Are you ready to make Virginia red again? No, I don't know. I've been traveling a couple days. Has anything been kind of broken in the news recently that I don't know about? I mean, I'm convinced that the best part of Joe Biden's day is every day he gets to discover that he is the President of the United States. You know, it's said that Ronald Reagan can never tell a lie, and Bill Clinton can never tell the truth, and Joe Biden can't tell the difference. But in all seriousness, I was in Milwaukee, and there was a lot of amazing moments when I was there, but one of the most riveting moments, other than if you're expecting me to pull the Hulk Hogan and rip my shirt off, it's not happening. You could thank me later. But it was when the parents of an American hostage, Omer Notra, showed up to address us in the hall and point out that this administration has forgotten 5 Americans right now, at this moment, as we sit in this amazing hall, forgotten, abandoned in Hamas, sitting as we speak in a Hamas dungeon, a terrorist group that is essentially ISIS. And where is this president? Nowhere to be found. Where is this vice president? Nowhere to be found. Shame on you, Mr. President, for allowing 5 Americans to languish in a Hamas dungeon as we speak. Shame. And they had a simple request: bring them home. Bring them home. Them home. Bring them home. Bring them home. And what did President Trump say in his remarks on Thursday night? He had a message for Hamas. You better release those Americans before I take office, or there'll be consequences. That is the strength we need, because, folks, we all saw that on June 27th. We saw in that debate a president that completely has lost his lunch. A President Biden that has trouble knowing what day of the week it is. Think about this. 25 minutes. 25 minutes is how long you have if you're the president and the commander-in-chief, if you're notified that there is a ballistic missile heading to the United States. 25 minutes you have to decide the fate of the free world. 25 minutes. Did anybody watch that debate on June 27th? I think this president can handle that. And so President Trump beat him so bad he withdrew from the race. But here's our problem. And I'm so glad we have so many of our friends from the media here. What has happened right now with this president's cognitive decline is one of the greatest political scandals in American history. We have a president that has not held a cabinet meeting for 9 months, since October of last year. We have now stories that suddenly appeared out of nowhere that this president is simply not up to the job. And Kamala Harris knew. And she lied to every person in this room and the entire country. So on one of the most consequential issues of the day, the president's basic ability to do the job that he was elected to do, she misled the American people. And then what was her main task as vice president? Secure the border. When she actually would even go visit the border, what have we seen? Since the Biden administration took office, 8 million illegal crossings have come to this country. Folks, it is the largest human migration into the United States in our history. Of those that are actually apprehended at the border, do you know what happens? Now, I would never assume anybody here has ever had any interaction with our traffic system and ever had a speeding ticket. But for those of us that have, you get a piece of paper and it says, we'll see you in court 4 or 5 months from now. Well, 83% of those that are even apprehended at the border, they're given a piece of paper that says you'll have an asylum hearing 4 or 5 years from now, in 2028 or 2029. It is a definition of a catch and release program, what we have right now. And I know this shocks you, but over 90% of the people that are given that piece of paper, I know this really surprises you, they don't show up to court. But I tell you, as Attorney General, we say we're the people's protector. A part of my job is to get to wake up in the morning and sue the Biden administration. That business is booming. But here's what terrifies me the most. Just in the last 18 months, 241 individuals on the FBI terrorist watch list have been apprehended at the border. 241. You know how many were apprehended the last 6 months of the Trump administration? 6. How many have gotten through? Probably take that 241 number and double it. I have no idea where they are. Neither does the FBI or Homeland Security. Our next 9/11 is not going to be individuals hijacking an airplane, I'm convinced. It's going to be individuals that crossed over our porous southern border. And your first job as president is to keep our country safe. Biden-Harris administration has failed at keeping us safe. Listen, it is great to be the Attorney General and travel this state. I get asked sometimes as I travel around the Commonwealth, what kind of name is Miyares anyway? And I like to say, well, it's Southern. It's Deep South. But the reality is that I'm standing in front of you today because this country gave my family, the Miyares family, a second chance. The fact that my mother was able to get on an airplane in Havana, Cuba, homeless and penniless, and not knowing where her next meal was going to be, in the fall of 1965, and almost 50 years to the day that she left, she was able to go into a voting booth and get a ballot with my name on it, and was able to vote for me to represent her in the oldest democracy in the Western Hemisphere. That's the American miracle. That is what's on the ballot here today. It's 3 simple initials. What is on the ballot this fall is our very country. It's USA. 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 Thank you all. God bless you. Make sure you give a great Highlander welcome to the next Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the